Hi, thank you so much for joining us for our very first ever live stream. We're really excited for you to be here and really appreciate you taking time out today, although it is Friday, so you totally deserve to be here. My name's Philippa, I'm from Art to Art, and today we'll be taking on a gallery walkthrough of our big exhibition. I'd like to also welcome Erica. Hi. Which you probably may have got an email or a phone call from her, but we just thought it'd be really good for her to be introduced and that you can put a name to her face. And also she'll be taking us through on the guided tour as well. On top of that, I've got my daughter Blaze doing the videoing. So the good thing about this is that if you've got any questions, being a live stream, you can absolutely stop and ask us and she'll flag it to us. So just type it in the comments there and we'll hope to answer it as we go on the tour. So the other great thing about you being here today is that it's put you automatically in the draw to win 2 prizes. The first prize is this stunning Greta Laundy original work on paper called Morning Meditation 1, and it's valued at $290. And the second prize is a $200 gift voucher where you can spend on any artwork you like. So as I said, just if you've got any questions, let us know, but we'll just get started and we'll see how we go. So the first piece we want to speak about is this one here. This artist is our youngest artist in the collection. Her name is Mia Pensa and she's 17, and this is called Wide Eyed. And it was based on, her inspiration came from a band, one of her favourite bands, and it was, the music itself is alternative and it's exotic, and that's what she was trying to get through in her artwork here. But what we do love about Mia's work is just the grittiness, that if Blaze comes in nice and close, you can sort of see all the beautiful detail and the layering that's gone on. And also the colour palette is quite extraordinary, and it's probably her signature is this kind of colour palette. So we love that. This other piece we wanted to bring your attention to was this one here, and this is by a ceramic artist called Jenny Rowe. So she does a lot of different types of sculptural work, but this series is on goddesses, and this one's the warrior Minerva. So her work can also be inside and outside. And if we just start our tour.
Yeah, so we'll move along to this artwork here. So this is by an artist, Kate Devo. She's a Western Australian artist from the Margaret River region. And this work's really lovely. It's called Brighter Days, and it's sort of all about conveying a sense of energy and finding light out of darkness. So what I really love about Kate's work is she's got these really beautiful spontaneous brush strokes, and you can see that texture from every brush stroke that she makes. And she also uses these beautiful, sort of almost luminous kind of fluorescent colours in her pieces. It really makes them kind of pop.
Absolutely. And the really good thing about this piece is it's quite a large piece, as you can see. So it'd be a huge injection of colour into a home, particularly if you've got a home with neutral colours and you're really trying to add that bit of colour. And also for someone with a really big wall, whether it be whichever way, up or down. So this is a great way to bring in a big, bold colour piece to your home.
Yeah, so moving from one big artwork to another really big artwork. So this piece here, it's about 170 by 170 centimetres. It's actually one of the largest pieces we have in the collection at the moment. So this is the Colleen Guinea artwork. It's called Have a Nice Day, which I think is quite a lovely title for an artwork. What I really love about her works is they're quite simple from a distance, but once you come in close, you can really see all this beautiful texture and detail that she kind of reveals, and all these like little sort of pencil marks and patterns that she adds in, and a real complexity to the colours that you might not otherwise notice.
And again, as opposed to what we were just talking about with Kate Devo's, this would be really good to be a quiet, soothing piece. It really is still quite a big statement piece, but in quite a different way from all the colour that you've just seen with the Kate Devo. Beautiful piece nonetheless. So what we've got here is a new artist. Well, I shouldn't say one artist because it's two. It's a husband and wife team, and they're called Kitty Calvin. And what they do is they recycle and reuse these kind of things that we remember from our childhood, and they put them together in these gorgeous sculptures. They're based in Port Melbourne, and they consider each one of these like their own children. And we've had great success with these. In 3 weeks we've sold 7. A lot of people are buying a group or 2 or 3 of them because they're quite affordable and also very unique. And then up here we have a work by Joan Blonde. You probably know Joan Blonde. She's quite a well-known artist we have in our stables. She came to us in 2017, and since then her career has really soared. This is called Serpentine Soothing. It's framed in the raw Tassie oak, and she's also got the beautiful gold leaf scattered throughout, which you can see when the light hits it. But also the beautiful detail. This is quite different from her usual style. But again, I just love the direction it's going. It's really quite complex and detailed.
Yeah, that's a super energetic work. There's a lot going on with it. This work here is by an artist called Ingrid Dusselder, and this work is called Midnight Garden. And the story of this piece is it's sort of about getting lost in a garden at night and really having a beautiful, relaxing, peaceful walk through it and seeing all those blends of blues and green colours. And what's really nice about this piece is, you know, there's all these layers built up through it, and really wherever you look on the canvas, there's something pretty cool to see. So you really can stare at this piece for quite a while and discover something new in it every time.
Absolutely. So the next two pieces is by an artist called Martha Lord. She's Melbourne-based, and these are photographic mixed collage works. So this piece here is called Tomo Gozen, and it's a 12th century Japanese warrior. She was quite famous in her times, and she was trained in many weapons, but mostly in the short dagger, which Martha has put here. The other thing that Martha does is she trolls through many magazines, and she takes high-res images to try and get this idea of a goddess. And women empowerment is what she's all about. So she's added the eyes, the tattoos, the dagger is all kind of put together photographically. And then she paints these beautiful kind of mixed media metallic paint just to finish it off.
Yeah, so this Tomo Gozen is sort of a figure from history, and we move now to Danu, who is actually a mythological figure, which is another inspiration for Martha. So Danu is a Celtic goddess of the earth. She's also known as the Earth Mother. She's quite a mysterious figure generally, but Martha's had a bit of fun with her and shown her in this moment where she's creating the earth. And what's quite interesting about this piece, as we said, Martha kind of photoshops different pieces together to create these images. And this globe here is actually one that Martha owns herself. It's a vintage Greek globe that, Martha the artist owns. So move along here. This is quite an interesting work actually. It's by an artist called Valentin Tink, and he's actually also a furniture maker and a sculpture artist. You can see these sculptures to the right here are also works that he's created. So this piece is called The Blue Door, and it's from his series called Doors, and they're all sort of about opportunities and the pathways we take through life. So this piece it's quite interactive. There are doors in it, and they open up. And some of the doors open and some don't. So it's all a bit of like a metaphor about, you know, a sense of adventure and the way we want to move through life. And they're the pathways we take.
Okay, now this beautiful piece here is by a Queensland artist. His name's Benjamin Ashton. We first came across his work when he entered our Unearthed Art Prize at the start of the year, and as soon as we saw his work, we just knew he had to come on board. He's just got a really beautiful, fluid style. Very simplistic, but it really captures the moment so perfectly. And this piece is called Look Up to the Sky, and it's a reaction to COVID and the fact that we're feeling so consumed with everything. What we need to do is to take a breath, come outside ourselves, and just know that there is nature around us to relieve our anxiety, basically. That's beautiful. So this is another artist called Bree Morrison, and this one's called Summer Serenade. And it's quite a special piece for her because being at home, also again in ISO with her daughter. She's got two kids actually, a newborn and a daughter. Oh, so sorry, everyone stop, Blaisy's got a question.
Cheryl has asked if these pieces are for sale.
Oh, such a good question, Cheryl. What a crazy thing. Of course, all of these are available today, currently available. So if there's anything that anyone sees that they like, please drop us an email or just DM or comment now, and we can put a red sticker on it today. So we've got stickers ready to go, so do let us know. So back to this piece, thanks Cheryl for that question. Back to this piece, It's all about an electric kind of storm over Lake Mulwala, where all the atmosphere and Mother Nature is doing her craziness, and it's kind of a busy place, and the light is just going crazy. So yeah, a beautiful piece, and she's been one of our most prolific artists, selling really well of late.
So this next piece along the line here is, it's called Camilla and Bay, and it's an artwork by Rachel Little. So Rachel is actually a bit of a ceramicist and a florist as well, and she's really inspired by flowers and floral motifs. If you've seen any of her work before, you'll know that she loves drawing flowers. Gets a lot of inspiration from them. So this piece is quite good. It sort of shows her style is quite laid back, very textural, lots of layers, quite simplified, which I think makes it quite contemporary for a floral artwork as well. This work here, of course, is another Ian Gunn artwork. So it's actually a bit of a contrast to the one that we saw before. The other one was called Midnight Garden, and it was about, you know, walking at night in the garden. This one's all about a garden during, you know, a bright summer sunny morning. So it's got these beautiful layers in it as well, and the textures. And with that green, you can really use this piece to kind of bring a bit of the outside in, create that connection between the inside of your home and your garden, which I think is quite nice, and everyone knows a bit of nature's good for you.
Correct. This is another Queensland artist. Her name's Hayley Wills, and she, her work is stylised a lot of block colour like this. She's a beautiful colourist. Her colour palettes are gorgeous. This was inspired by mountains, as you can see, but it's also called Mountain Song. The energy that she had that day and the excitement for the mountains really made it feel like the song, the mountains were singing to her, so hence the title. But yeah, very striking work. And then over here, the last couple of pieces in this room, because we've got another room next door that we're going to take you to. This is also by another Queensland artist. His name's Rec, and he's a wildlife artist. So he's painted these two birds called Flappy, and it's a red-tailed black cockatoo. So he does it in this construction style. So up here it's really quite detailed, as you can see, but then it kind of like loosens off. So that's what he's actually going for there. And then in the background here we have a botanical styled pattern fabric that he paints on, which is really interesting as well.
Yeah, so these two works, they're sort of a pair together, and they create a really nice pair. If you've got a space like this that you need to fill, but they can also obviously be separated and work really well on their own as well. So we'll just move through to the other room now.
These two here are by Bree Morrison. You can see a similar kind of style that she's using that earlier summer serenade I was talking about earlier. And then just have a bit of a pan in here, ladies, to show everyone the room. Also, we've got some other Kitty Calvert sculptures in the middle here, some just varying ones from the other collection, but there's quite a few and they're all on the website, so you can check them out there. This piece here is by Jacqueline Stevens. It's called Aqueous Bloom Life Field 5, and she's really concerned, her inspiration is taken under a microscope, so she's really concerned about the molecule and the matter. And this piece, she wanted to find some universal beauty, of which she's done. So this is inspired by, could be raindrops on a windscreen, or sea life, or the universe and stars at night. But it's really beautiful because it actually draws you in. It's like a 3D kind of feeling, and also very calming and tranquil.
Yeah, so we sort of move from that Jacqueline Stevens work, so it's very calming, to this Christine Minter work, which is very bright and exciting and colourful. So this is actually one of her works that's sort of from her lighter series. So she has a series that's a bit darker and more intense as well. And this one's just colourful, it's fun. It's really great because it's sort of an interior designer's dream, because it's got all these beautiful colours in it. And you can really use it to pick out any colour in a room that you love. This next work along here is by Prue Clay. She's an artist that really feels this connection to the landscape and loves drawing landscape scenes. She's very inspired by like the mountains of Tasmania or like the bays of Queensland, and she's she said that she loves the way that light sort of bounces off the landscape, and she's really interested in the way the light works. So she's kind of tried to show that here. This piece is called Green Light, and she's sort of showing the light as it sort of moves through the trees and the ground and sort of bounces back towards you.
Okay, great. So this is one of our youngest, also another young artist, but newest artist to join the stables. Her name's Eveline Halle, and she paints these really quirky birds in suits. When we first saw them, we just love them. We just love art that makes you think twice and questions, you know, what your idea of is. Why would a bird be in a suit, for example? So this one is a New Zealand snowbird, and she has all these kind of quirky stories that go with them. And this one is, don't take him too seriously. He still likes to have a lot of fun just because he's in a suit. And the owl itself, he's a wise man. He works 24/7. It's really lucky that he can twist his head 270 degrees so he can keep an eye on his employees. Just quirky, you know, really great fun. And love the colour palette too. This piece over here is more in keeping with Joan Blonde's normal style. It's from her summer series. And what she does really well is big works like this that pack a punch, are really colourful, just keep you interested in them because they are just so powerful and bold in any room. So if you really want to draw attention and have a bit of colour, which we often hear, then this is a piece for it.
So moving around to here, we've got an artwork by Nadia Dusselberg, and she's a really playful artist, a bit quirky, you know, has a bit of a rebellious spirit, and she has a lot of fun with her artworks, sort of creating these pieces. And she sort of works very intuitively, not a lot of pre-planning in her works, and just a lot of energy and feeling goes into them. This piece is quite interesting. It's called How Do You Draw Birds? And it's actually a bit of a light box work, so you can sort of turn it on. I don't know how well it'll be showing up on camera, but there is light behind here that glows through. And that would make it a really good fit for a bedroom or some other place like that where you've got a bit of that sort of ambient feeling and you can kind of get a bit of that glow happening.
And then this piece here is by Joy Chiang. So her inspiration has come from her 1-year-old son in the garden, and what she sees through his eyes is she's trying to articulate onto the canvas, which is the finer detail that us as adults miss. And it's quite moving and fluid, so she's quite intuitive with her brush strokes. She just feels it and she moves with it. So it's a beautiful piece.
This little diptych here is by Hannah Rose. It's called The Fire Within, and it was really inspired by Hannah's recent desire to, you know, have an escape, a holiday to somewhere warm, which, you know, I think we all kind of wanted to a bit this winter. So she's kind of channeled that feeling and has created this work, which is a bit of an escape and a bit of something you can, you know, feel that warmth from. She's also playing off negative space, and that sort of flows through the artwork there as well. And we've got a few more works here. So this is another Hayley Wills artwork, like the one we saw before. It's got that really neon bright pink, which is quite indicative of her works. This piece is called Sapphire on Sunset, and it's actually a bit of an abstract aerial view of a sunset on the Australian outback landscape. So we've got another Rachel Little work here as well. Again, there's flowers, which she just loves painting and is really inspired by. And that beautiful sort of layered textures that she has as well, you can really see in this piece. And then here, again, another Nadia Dusselberg artwork, really fun and quirky. This piece is called Leap of Faith, and I just sort of love those, you know, oranges and those colours in there, and it's just a really fun piece.
Okay, we'll move this way. Come this way. And this magnificent piece here is by an art photographer and filmmaker called Lynch. He's Melbourne based. And he's travelled the world. He's been to Borneo and Cuba, and actually in Cuba when he was scuba diving he first met his green sea turtles, such as this one. It wasn't until he came back to the Great Barrier Reef that he actually took this photo. So it's a photographic print on high quality canvas stretched on aluminium frame. So it measures 2 metres by 1.4, so it's just so beautiful and tranquil. And what happened is when he was in the water, this turtle came up and just the old man of the sea just glide past him, and then the light just sort of came, trickled down, and he just caught that moment to this beautiful piece. So Ingrid Dusselberg, I just wanted to make mention of this beautiful sculpture here. We've got a few sculptures of Ingrid's in the gallery at the moment. This one's called Life Within, and she's actually the mother of Nadia, who we just spoke about next door. The whole family is quite creative. Klaus is also a sculptor, and also her sister is a painter, so it's quite a remarkable family.
So this piece here is by another new artist called Alicia Cornwell, and she's really inspired. She's got a collection of vintage fabrics and pottery that really inspires her and that she's worked with for years, and then is also really motivated by the gardens around her home. So this piece has various bits of fabric that are part of her own collection, along with this piece of pottery, which is actually a 1930s Australian pottery called Cornwall pottery, so it is actually a distant relation to Alicia Cornwell, the artist. And then we've also got this little guy here. His name is Bubbles, and he's actually a bit of Alicia's past as well, a budgie that she once owned. And then the flowers here are from the gardens that surround her home and her own gardens there. So it's really quite a fun, vibrant piece. There's lots going on in here, and it's really quite detailed.
Mm-hmm. And I think if we just swing over here for a second, just so we can also see the other work in a similar vein to what Erica just was talking about with Alicia's work. Again, the quirky budgie, which she loves so much. So there's two pieces here in this exhibition. And also make mention of the one next to it as well is also another Bree Morrison, a lot more abstract than some of her more typical landscapes, but again, very energetic. And to finish on,
so these last two works here, which by the same artist there, two more Jacqueline Stevens works. These are Coastal Deluge 1 and 2. They're sort of a diptych, so they can work together like we've put them here or apart. And Jacqueline's quite inspired by the ocean and sea life and water, as well as all those molecules and things we spoke about earlier. So this one's obviously part of her sort of coastal water series, Coastal Deluge, and she uses these kind of drip effects and these really gestural brush strokes to try and exemplify the water and the movements there.
And also I just want to make mention that Eveline has a range of limited edition prints to coincide with her original works, which you can see on our website. There's quite a few there. As what does Rec with his wildlife avian series. So they're, you can buy them unframed or framed, it's your choice. Okay, time for a champagne, people. Let's go. So we hope you enjoyed the tour of our gallery. Thank you so much again for coming on it. It's been wonderful to have you here, and I hope next time you can come in person and we can have one of our traditional great openings. And so the other thing I want to make mention is if there's anything that on the walk around that you saw, you want more information about, or anything we can help you with, please drop us a line, whether DM us, email us, whatever you want to do. And so what we're going to do is draw this prize, which is the Greta Blonde original work, because you've joined us, so thank you so very much. You're now in the draw to win that, or the $200 gift voucher with our compliments. We'll be drawing it via our socials on Monday. And the other thing the last thing I wanted to say is thank you to Erica and to Lays for being our videographer today. Thank you so much. But the next exhibition we're already starting planning, which is October the 6th. So lots of good things in store for that one. And if you haven't already seen the big catalogue, you can jump on our website and you'll see it there. So please, all this is in the big catalogue as well, and you can see them in room, so you can get a bit more of an idea how they're going to look. But thank you again so much for coming. Did I miss anything, Erica?
Yeah, so I guess if anyone has any further questions about anything, feel free to put them in the comments or message us. Again, as Philip has said, all these works are for sale, so you can drop us a DM or contact us via our website to ask about any of those as well.
Wonderful. So thank you so much. We'll see you next time. Bye.